All right, day 2 of the Washington Commanders mandatory minicamp, and they had some special guests in attendance. The team inviting more than 100 high school football coaches to spend time with the team and learn from Coach Dan Quinn. Chad Ricardo right there with more on that. I know Terry McLaurin has a lot of people talking, but this is pretty cool too.
This is very cool, Marina. Just an exciting day out here in Ashburn as the Washington Commanders brought the community on board here today. Some over 100 high school coaches were in attendance to learn from head coach Dan Quinn, to observe practice. I asked Coach Quinn why it was that he felt it was important to bring these coaches out today.
I want them to know what they're doing really matters, and like we see the work that they're doing. So if this is one way, that we can pay it forward to the coaches to let them know a practice schedule, a way you set up something in terms of a drill, how do you teach our game really safely? And if we can do that better and it help them establish that in their schools and in their own communities, I think it just helps grow everything.
Here's the scene as well over 100 high school coaches took in day 2 of Commanders mandatory minicamp here in Ashburn. Now, you want to talk about representation. Prince George's County's Largo was in the building. Falls Church's Fairfax County was here. Digital Pioneers of Washington, D.C. as well, and that's just to name a few. All of them came out to take in the atmosphere, to study the drills, and to learn from what Coach Quinn and his staff are teaching to the Commander squad. Fox 5 spoke with high school coaches who told us that they were impressed by the pace on the field. They were impressed by the energy. But as Friendship Collegiate head coach Mike Hunter told me, today is all about what he can take back and give to his student athletes in Washington, D.C.
Just how they conduct themselves at practice. They're all focused and locked in, running from drill to drill. The things we try to implement with our guys, if we can tell them that the pros are doing it, we should be doing it at the high school level.
Day 2 of Washington Commanders, a mandatory mini camp, and the high school coaches in the building, again, learning from head coach Dan Quinn and team, and taking back to their student athletes back at home with the Commanders are teaching here in Ashburn.
Giving back to the community, and certainly a lot of those young football players who one day have aspirations of walking into that camp there in Ashburn. Speaking of camp,
right.
of course, everybody talking about Terry McLaurin holding out here, but he's not the only wideout that is having some issues here with the team.
Sure. A huge thing here today, Marina, occurred at the end of practice. Noah Brown, wide receiver Noah Brown, went down with what appeared to be an injury. Now, we're not certain at all in terms of what it is that injury is, but he did have an on-the-field collision with safety Will Harris. Noah Brown was then carted off of the field. This was after the filming portion of practice was allowed, so there was no film of the injury and or of the play. But I can report that we did hear, once Noah Brown got back into the restricted area, into the locker rooms, we heard Noah Brown let out a bit of a yell. Don't know if that was pain or whether that was frustration, but the important thing to note is that Washington Commanders wide receiver Noah Brown was carted off of the field during the 11-on-11 portion of practice here today.
All right, hoping that he gets healthy again very quickly here, as it's still June, but certainly unfortunate to hear about that. Chad Ricardo for us live today from Ashburn.